But you never know that you could. When you feel that way, ain't it good, good dancing in the red and gold. Dancing in the red and gold.
What's up, Faithful? Welcome to another episode of the 49er Faithful UK Live. As always, I'm your host, Paul Hope, and joining me once again is my good friend, Lee Gowland.
And I've come armed with some teasers about Sunday night.
Well, Lee, we are expecting that, and as everybody already knows, I'm super excited. Now, you might ask why I'm excited. Officially, it's Super Bowl week, people. How good does that sound, Lee? 49ers, Super
It sounds
Bowl.
fantastic, Paul. It's well documented how fantastic it sounds.
So, that's right, people. Our San Francisco 49ers have headed to Las Vegas for Super Bowl 58, where we will face the defending champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. The game kicks off at 11:30 p.m. for us in the UK, and we haven't even got 2 minutes in, and Lee has teased he has some information about a certain watch party that might be happening. Leeds United, Ellen Road. You may have seen one or two posts about it, people.
Got one or two updates on that.
But more about that later. So tonight we're going to look at the cost of the Super Bowl tickets, the cost of going to the host city. We've got a couple of special guests to help break it all down. Now, first up, Lee, it's well documented how super positive this guy is. In fact, you could say he's even more positive than me, which I struggle to believe, but that's what the people are telling me. He single-handedly saved the Bristol meetup in 2021. He will bowl you over with his infectious charm, his wit, and one of his many bear hugs. It is my honour to welcome to the 49er Faithful UK Live our very own Captain Positivity, the one, the only, Jay Peplow is in the house.
Super Bowl, guys! Super Bowl! Guys, thank you ever so much for having me on. I've been waiting for this for a while. Never doubt us. Never doubt us.
No, that's right. So, after the success of last week, we thought getting guests on the show seems to work. So, joining us tonight, I've got a Bay Area native, someone I've been lucky to connect with during this awesome content creating, meeting people across the pond, doing shows. The community gets bigger and better. She's equally as positive and as talented as Mr. Peplow. She has a photography business, which you need to check out her Instagram. Some of the shots she gets to San Francisco is amazing. And I'm delighted to welcome my friend Michelle, aka Red Jet Shell, to the 49er Faithful UK Live.
Yeah.
Hey, Shell.
Hi. I know it's super late for you guys. It's only 12 o'clock in the afternoon for us. So, and I'm in California. I'm in the Bay Area, so I'm not far from San Francisco. And my heart hurts because I missed Paul the last time he was here. And he tells me I have a photography business, which I don't, but I do photography as a hobby. The shots that Paul Hope put me, he if I had a business, he put me out of business. The shots of San Francisco and the Bay Area and the game were just out of this world. So glad to see you again, Mr. Paul, and nice to meet you, Lee and Jay. I'm ready. Let's talk about this. I am so ready.
To go.
Yeah.
So we were saying off air, people, we've changed the format of the 49er Faithful UK Live. So we know you want the content, but it's only Wednesday. You can wait till later in the week for the awesome foursome to do the breakdown of the game. Now, Lee, you came up with this topic. The cost of Super Bowl tickets, the venue, getting there. So go on, buddy. Kick us off.
Yeah, so it's an easy one to come up with this this particular topic because 4 years ago when we played the Chiefs in Super Bowl 54, I swore then that if we get back to the Super Bowl, I'm going to that Super Bowl. And lo and behold, I find myself that I can't afford it because the prices are just absolutely ridiculous. And it makes you wonder, if you're an American sports fan, you're a season ticket holder at Levi's Stadium, what exactly must be going through your mind when you see these types of prices? For the past 2 weeks, they've been selling for $10,000. These are the nosebleed seats right at the very back of the stadium, and it's $10,000. They came down to about just over 5,000 at the start this week, but then they've gone up again. So they're now about 662, and it's just unbelievable that an organisation like the NFL would put the fan base in a position like this. Now, obviously, I don't know the full story behind this, because I do know season ticket holders went into some sort of random lottery, whereas if their number was picked out, they had an option to buy a ticket. I don't know if these tickets were $5,000-$6,000. I don't know if they were more reasonably priced, what you'd call face value, or of maybe $150 to $200. I don't know, because I've never spoken to a season ticket holder at Levi Stadium about that. So that would be interesting to find that out, and exactly how many tickets the San Francisco 49ers got. To try and compare it to something, I think you'd have to say the FA Cup final. So the FA Cup final played at Wembley. You've got 90,000 seats in there, and I think each team only get about 25,000 tickets each. So that's 50,000. The other 40,000 go on either hospitality or go to grassroots football. So you have 40,000 people there who are not necessarily fans, and I think the Super Bowl is very much like that. They've kind of sold the soul to hospitality, and you have these uber expensive seat prices just behind the 49ers bench to sit on the sideline. That's $42,000 for a game of football, and I just can't get my head around that. How does that make you feel, Shal? Because I mean, obviously you must come up against these sort of prices quite often.
Yeah. I can go on and on. It's just so, the stigma is you can't even afford to live in California, and part of that's true. And going to the game at Levi Stadium is already an arm and a leg, right? So me living an hour's drive from the stadium, you figure, okay, that's not that bad. You have to pay to park, and that could be upwards of $600, and in some cases $1,200 just to park. And then you're also paying to go into the stadium, enjoy the game. Hopefully we win it. And you're thinking, all this money, like, what? Why am I being priced out for a game that we should all be able to enjoy, no matter from where you're coming from? So when I think of $10,000, I'm like, that's literally not as expensive as how much I spend for my car. That's the price of a car. That's a decent. It's actually a sizable down payment for a car, and I'm just like, I don't understand. Sorry, that's my background sensor. So, I just it hurts. Like, I want to go, and Vegas is only an hour and a half by plane, so you figure airfare would be fairly cheap, and it's not. It's like $2,000 just to fly, just to like what we would call a turnaround trip, because it's closer for us and it's on the same time zone as us. So it's like $2,000 to fly from the closest airport to me would be Oakland International. I think you guys were familiar with San Francisco International.
Yeah.
So to fly from Oakland to Las Vegas and back in the same day was about $2,000. I'm just like, that's ridiculous. Any other day, it's about literally 10% of that, literally. Yeah. So it hurts. And it's like, I'm sure you guys have seen the horror stories with our gas prices, our food prices, and God knows what else. So it hurts,
it's an interesting
to know
one
that I can't go. Yeah,
so the gas prices, believe it or not, the gas prices are still quite cheap compared to over in the UK. We still pay almost double what you pay. So to us, it's still cheap. But I see what you mean. I see what you mean. I mean, the flight prices. So I've got this friend that lives in Daly City, and she had intended to fly out to Vegas and do a watch party in Vegas, watch the game there, and then fly back. But she found it was actually going to be cheaper to fly to the UK than to fly to Vegas from San Francisco airport. That's how much they put the prices up for this particular weekend. And I think you see that in the accommodation prices as well. All of those have skyrocketed. So last night I decided to pull the trigger on buying a ticket off John Chapman for the Super Bowl tickets. So I've entered that competition in the hope that I win it. I mean, there's no way I'm going to win it. But we kind of doubled up, me and my friend David Ellicott.
He'll win it.
So we bought a ticket each. I hope so. We bought a ticket each, so $100 each there, and it's well worth having the opportunity to try and get one of these $5,000-$6,000 tickets. But then,
Yeah.
obviously, as soon as I bought the ticket, I thought, well, actually, I better go online and start checking, find out how much it was going to cost to fly there, to actually stay there. And the cheapest I've managed to come up with at the moment is £1,600, which works out, I think, about $2,000. And that's for 3 nights only.
Oh my God.
So fly in Friday, fly home Monday. So yeah, it was a little bit more
Please,
expensive than I
49ers
thought.
win if you do this.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we brought you on, Michelle, because obviously you've got me, Jay and Lee, based in the UK. As Lee was talking to me and Jay last night, we did a sound check for Jay, and Lee was busy looking at his phone. He was preoccupied. We were like, "What are you doing?"
Busy, right?
I'm looking at prices to go to Vegas. Now, one of the questions that I had for you is obviously I'm plugged in to all the content creators. I know everybody who's anybody is heading over to Vegas. So that's got us thinking, was that something that you had planned? But you've answered that at the start. Because like you said, it seems so close. But at those prices, we
so
were in a
far,
similar dilemma with if our watch party was going to be in London, for argument's sake. London isn't as cheap to get to as where they've decided with Leeds. But I must admit, Shell, seeing all those people descend to Vegas, if I was an hour and a half away,
Wasn't
you
it
must be
awesome?
tempted.
I wanted to go for Super Bowl live. I'm not gonna lie. I really wanted to just like, oh, I could go there and enjoy Super Bowl live and come back. But I'm like, oh God, the being an adult, that's the part where being an adult really sucks. And and I don't have children, but it's like even if I did, it's like just bring it with you, right? But even then, it's like it's a turnaround flight, and it's still a lot of time being expelled because Super Bowl live started kind of late in the day. Our time, it was about 5 o'clock our time. So by the time it ended, I still have to go back to the airport and then fly back to the closest airport again would be Oakland International for me because it's like a 20-minute drive from my house. So versus going to San Francisco and then I'd be driving about 45 minutes by car and everything, obviously. And I was so tempted because seeing all those fans at Super Bowl Live was epic. And I'm like, how come the tickets can't be? I could see them at the most expensive, maybe $2,000. Okay, that's not terribly expensive at all. I think we all could probably, pull resources and make it happen. But $10,000 of upwards of, I saw tickets as high as $100,000.
Yeah.
I'm scared to look at that kind of money. I'm scared to say that kind of money, much less look at it. And it's kind of funny because I used to work at this job where it wasn't a bank, it was a bank vault. And it was literally physical cash that would come into this bank vault. And we had to count it. And I remember counting $3.8 million in a 4-hour period. And I'm just looking at this money like, oh my God, I don't want it. I don't want anything to do with this because seeing it was scary enough, and then I have to count it, and I'm responsible for it. Like if a dollar comes up missing,
Shell,
they're coming after me.
The Super Bowl programs were going for about. Well, I'll get the conversion rate wrong, but we're going for what, £29 per program, Lee?
Yeah, so I paid £29 for mine, so that works out, I reckon, about $35, $36.
Yeah. So that's the programs at the game over in the UK. God. Now on Friday night, we got offered as the group a box of 20. I thought, this will be easy. Lee's got enough on his plate. Pass it over to me, collecting 20 people's worth of money, and then getting all that money into my bank account, and then paying it to someone I'd never met. Luckily, I've just had a text to say they're getting delivered tomorrow. So fingers crossed. But no, Jay, what do you make then of the prices? Because obviously we're talking about getting across there. I know you'd love to go.
Oh, I'm there. See? I'm there. Right.
You're there.
It's as close as I'll get to it. I'm a great fan of the saying that nothing changes if nothing changes. And the fact that the Super Bowl sells out every year, it's just a cash cow. And they know that they could bump the prices up by 10, 20%, and they'll still sell out. It's a massive spectacle, and it's something I don't think the UK could ever come close to, apart from maybe a coronation of a king. we see
No
it from a
political
different point
talk
of
on
view.
this show, Jay. Just Niners stuff. Don't be talking about
Yeah.
politics.
We're going to be
No
kings. Though.
politics.
We will be kings.
So-
Yes,
We see it
there
from a
you go.
completely different. We see it from a completely different. Hiya, Paul. We see it from a completely different way from the guys over in the States. I mean, it's always
Yeah.
we don't see the price. We see the price ticket, but then we see the accommodation, the flights, and everything. So I think it's always been a bit of a pipe dream for a lot of people in the UK.
Well, that's why.
And I think it's going to remain a pipe dream at those
I think
prices
so.
as well. And I think you're completely right as well, G. I mean, spookily, I received a PDF in my inbox for the 49th for UK today. And it was by the managing director, believe it or not, of Viagogo ticket sales sites.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they've been crawling YouTube to find out who's going to talk about ticket prices, and they actually sent us this PDF with a load of information in. So demand for Super Bowl 58 tickets is nearly double the demand for last year, 1.7 times higher than the last time these two teams met in 2020. On average, the prices are going for between $7,000 and $9,000. The lowest tickets have come is 2,400. I've never seen them not once when I've been searching, and I've been searching religiously for
You've
2
got to
weeks.
sit on the toilet and watch it on your phone.
I've never seen them under 5,000, so I don't know where they got this from. But this is from the Viagogo site, and I didn't check those. This is the first time the Super Bowl's been held in Vegas, obviously, and that's potentially bumped up prices. Obviously, that's where all the boxing's held, the box office smashes, all that sort of stuff. 80 to 95% of Super Bowl ticket purchases happen in the 2-week window after the championship games. So everybody's buying them now, which is interesting because I looked at the ticket prices before we played against Detroit Lions. And you know how you can go on to Ticketmaster and you can like zoom in on the stadium and it'll show you the free seats. There wasn't that many free seats left. So I don't know if it's a case of people who bought them, then like Detroit Lions got knocked out, the Ravens got knocked out. So you got Lions and Ravens fans all suddenly thinking, oh, well, I'm going to have to sell those tickets now. And then they become available again. It's really strange the way they do it. But there's unbelievable information in here. This is the first time that the UK have ranked number 3 on NFL ticket sales. We've actually moved up. Wow. So prior to that, so we are now account for 37% of ticket sales in the NFL.
37.
37. That's huge.
Wow.
I mean, that shows two things: that the international series is obviously working.
Yeah.
And us.
Yeah, and us.
Well,
but you know, I tend to question that because then I go, well, how many people in high places in London are going? You know, for whatever reason, you know, like trying to profit on something or trying to, or trying to, you know what I mean? Like trying to get some, like, or a clout chase. That's kind of what my concern is, because it's not for us to go. It's for, you know, celebs, execs, higher ups, PRs, you name it. You know, I feel like these content creators that work so hard can't even blink at it. Yeah, I think you guys should get the first pass. That's just me, but if I had it, you'd have it. That's just me.
Shell said.
No, but she's right in what she's saying, because this week I've seen the likes of Chapman and Breezy are heading down to Vegas. They're throwing an awesome watch party. And you'll have seen, Shell, because you follow us on social media. The watch party is quite a new thing for the UK on the magnitude that we're doing it. And I am hyped for Sunday. Leeds United is a football club in England, which the 49ers own. So they're allowing us to use their facilities. So it isn't just a case of going to a random sports bar. We're going to a custom conference suite. There's 500 tickets available. So we are very excited. It's 11:30 p.m. for us in the UK. So the reason that's important is
faithful.
On a Sunday.
We're bringing a taste of America to England, for want of a better word. We're going to be tailgating, but not at the venue. So we're going to meet up in Leeds City Centre. on the afternoon. I can't say too much because Lee's teased some
So
of the
actually,
details.
no, I mean, so that's a very good segue into the very first piece of information I can give. So ever since last
breaking
year,
news.
so ever since last year, when we lost in the NFC Championship game, that's when I found out that had we won and gone through the Super Bowl, the idea was to actually have an authentic tailgate for the Super Bowl watch party. So I assumed that that would happen this year. It's not going to happen because they can't get the license to actually do that because of one, what time of day it is, obviously lasting at night. Two, there's a residential area around the stadium, so you can't make the noise. Right. And then there was the alcohol licensing for selling outside as well. So there's not going to be an authentic tailgate there. We're going to have to make do with the sports bar type food inside and obviously the drink as well. So that's the first update about the watch party on Sunday night.
So I was going to say, Lee, there's a question for someone I assume is coming.
What food is on? So I have asked that question, and the answer I got back was not particularly helpful. I've been told it's sports bar food. So I take that as being wings, burgers, hot dogs, fries. I think that's what's going to be on. And maybe it's even pizza.
So what we used to do, Shell, we used to book our own Super Bowl watch party at the start of the season. We used to book it in a local casino. There used to be about 9 or 10 of us would meet up. And then the last Super Bowl we were at, which was against the Chiefs, we booked that at the start of the season. And there was, I say a lot of us, Lee, about 40, 50 of us in Newcastle for the last one. So
2019 against the Chiefs.
Against the Chiefs last time, yeah. So there was a group of us.
There's about 40
and obviously, when the lights came on, but basically casino tended to be a go-to because it's got a late license. And then when the Niners announced that we were having the watch party in Leeds, there was a few people in London unhappy. But the reason it's not in London is because the NFL's exploded, as Jay said. Every venue that could host is already sold out. So you don't normally charge for a watch party, for want of a better word. They're normally free entry. But this is the first time the Niners have hosted one and they've charged now £10 plus your booking fee, which was £11. I thought was reasonable, Lee. I know some of the local bars where I am are charging a £5 a piece and you're getting nothing with your £5. So I didn't think it was expensive for what we're getting.
Right. And what you get is basically you're going to get a portion of dirty fries. So it's like chili cheese fries, and a beer. So it kind of covers that. The first drink, the first piece of food that you get when you go in, and it kind of stops anybody registering tickets to say, well, I might go, but I might not, and it keeps the tickets for those who are actually going to go. So it's a good idea. I'm quite surprised they kept it so low. I thought they might have gone £15 to £20 for that. Yeah.
So where are you planning on watching the Super Bowl at across the pond? Have you got any plans to go to a watch party? We've seen the Niners are hosting them around, not just in the UK.
Yeah, so there's tons of watch parties here. There's tons of watch parties at the casinos. So we're staying home. So probably just gonna fry some chicken, match some mashed taters, some mac and cheese, and just do a whole spread. We've told people that they're welcome, but we warn them that we lose it. So then we tend to scream and holler a lot, namely me. But don't swear. Don't like alcohol and all that stuff, but we have everything else, and I think we're just gonna stay home. I was thinking about maybe rolling to a casino and just kind of watching it, but then I'm like, the problem with that is the weather has been really spotty. It's spotty as we speak. It's been like off and on, bad rain, light rain. So I don't know how it's going to be on Sunday. It's saying right now clear skies, but I don't trust that. So it's probably just best to just chill out at the house. So that's more than likely what we're gonna do.
So Martin's just said that £11 is a steal. Now you can take that as gospel come from Martin. Martin comes from Liverpool, so he knows a lot about stealing. So £11 is a good deal.
He's that tight he squeaks when he walks.
So apparently you've got a guest.
Wow.
Aaron, 49ers First Take podcast in the house.
Yeah, he's across the country. So it's 3:30 for him. So he's in Buffalo. So he's across the country from me. So Aaron's show, you guys, if you guys aren't liking and subscribing to Aaron, please do so. His channel is awesome. He also has quite a few people on his show, Bashar being one of them, which is a dear friend of mine. You, yes, I saw that. That was awesome. You are just awesome everywhere you go. I'm still mad at myself because I missed out on meeting you. But our day will come. I can't wait. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure where Aaron is because he's by Buffalo, so I'm sure he's not far from Niagara Falls. So I'm sure it's gonna be like, I think it's just up and down, the country is gonna be tons of watch parties. And specifically in San Francisco, I was told, I don't know if this is true or not, that there will be a watch party at City Hall the day of the parade. It's like, I mean, the day of the parade, I wish, I hope, right? So the day of the Super Bowl, I know, same. The day of the Super Bowl, City Hall, if you guys were familiar with it, or if you got a chance to visit it, there's a huge, like a center section where they're going to have like this big jumbo, like a projector jumbotron kind of thing, and they're just inviting people to come on out and watch it. And I believe the Chase Center is going to be opening up for people to watch, and I believe Oracle Park as well. So it's going to be very, very, very busy in San Francisco on Sunday. So
Wow.
I'm excited. I can't believe that we made it, but we did. It was a hard 2 weeks for divisional championship, but here we are. So very excited, very proud. Hope to see a Super Bowl in this part of my lifetime. The last time I saw it when I was 15, so it's 30 years. a lot of time and growth has passed since then. So.
Yeah, so I mean, Sunday can't come quick enough for me. On our last show, we talked about the evolution of our watch parties, our meetups. And when I look back to the Super Bowl wins that the 49ers have had, obviously the first four were during the 80s. I would watch them at home. In fact, I didn't watch the first two. The first two I had to watch a week later when they were on recorded TV. The second two I managed to watch live, and then the one in '95 I watched live. But I was by myself. At the time in the UK, the NFL wasn't that popular, and I didn't particularly know anybody else who lived close, who followed the NFL. So it was a lonely thing to go through to watch that Super Bowl. 2012 came, and even though the group had started in 2010, we didn't have a meetup or anything like that. So again, sat in the house watching us get beat by the Ravens. Had to do that alone. 2019, this was our first time that we had a meetup, and this is when we had 35, 40 people in Newcastle. And it kind of give you an idea of potentially what Sunday night's going to be like. Because up until 6 minutes in the fourth quarter, the atmosphere in that casino was absolutely electric. We were all thinking, this is us, we're going to win the Super Bowl here. And you kind of got a feel for what was going to happen once time ran out and we'd be victorious. But obviously, it's history now. We all know what happened.
Yeah.
And I think it was a good thing that we could all basically console each other. We all went through exactly the same thing. We all saw the same thing. But again, the evolution has happened again. We come up to Sunday, and instead of being 35 to 40, we're looking at 350 to 400, maybe it's even up to 500 if we can sell all the tickets. So it gets us excited for that. And it kind of, what I'm trying to get at, I'm going back to the whole reason why I put that, I bought that ticket, that raffle ticket to win the Super Bowl ticket. I've only done it for one person, and that's for David Ellicott. David Ellicott's had a really poor last 12 to 18 months, and he desperately wants this. He was actually going to pay 18 grand to go over to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's a ridiculous amount of money, and I couldn't afford that. But I said to him, look, this is our chance. Let's go halves on 2 tickets, so buy 1 ticket each, and we'll go. Other than that, I would not miss Leeds on Sunday night for anybody else other than David, because I expect this atmosphere is going to be bouncing. I think it's going to be electric. And if we do win, because I'm not going to be complacent, because we're coming up against a very good Chiefs team, very good quarterback, very good coach. If we win, it's just going to take the top off Leeds. It's going to be so loud. I cannot wait to see that happen.
So what Lee's failing to tell you both, I'm going to let you in on it. Well, I'm going to let everyone in on a secret. So I do the social media shell, but Lee has the login to the Twitter account. And every now and again, he accesses a message without me knowing, and I get confused. So bear in mind, Lee's best friend, David Ellicott, I'm already in the knowledge that David's going to the Super Bowl. He spent £18,000, he's going. So yesterday, we were getting a lot of inquiries because you saw the footage, which we're going to show later, of Dre Greenlaw, Deshaun Gibson, and Chris Connolly giving us a shout out, which was awesome. So I'm on my phone, Shell, and I see a message from the 49er Faithful UK Twitter account to John Chapman ordering a ticket for this raffle. I'm like, hello? Straight message to Lee. Who are you taking with the second ticket if you win? And he was like, yeah, sorry, buddy. David didn't buy a ticket. So I thought, if I'm going to miss out to anybody, it'd be David Ellicott. So if he was trying to keep it a secret, he needed to do it from his personal account.
But you guys can work it out. Like, that's what, extended luggage bags are for. You could just slide in there. Right? You can just go right through baggage claim. They don't look. You just need a few little holes, you know what I mean? So you can just breathe, get your snacks. I know it's a long flight, but you'll be okay.
Well,
we'll find
when we landed in San Francisco, and there was 40 of us, but we were on individual tickets. And at customs, they were like, are you on your own? Looking around, seeing everybody in Niners gear, like, not really. What you
not
here
really.
for? We followed that man across the pond to go watch a football game. They were like, "You're all Niners fans." We were like, "Yeah." They're like, "Right, through you go." Well, that was pretty awesome.
No, the memo was wear Niner gear to the air.
Yeah. We always want Niner
gear. Yeah, right. We just all decided to congregate. We're in the same gear. That's funny. The Mania here in the Bay Area is just awesome. Oh my God. I even have Raider fans bowing to us. Raider fans. These are people that cannot stand us. We have nothing to do with the Raiders. But because of the San Francisco and Oakland being big brother, little brother, I think that's all this rivalry boils down to. And what people don't understand about both cities is both cities were at one point a melting pot. People were coming from far and wide to come to either San Francisco or Oakland or both. There were jobs, there was school, there was this opportunities everywhere. And I had the privilege of living on both sides of the Bay. I grew up in San Francisco, and then my mom and we lived in Oakland for 10 years. So when we first moved to Oakland, the Raiders were still in Los Angeles. They weren't even in the Bay Area. So when they moved back in 1995, I have to tip my hat to the Raider Nation. Why? Because their fans are just as electric as we are. They get just as ticked off as we do. They get emotional like we do. I know, F the Raiders and all that stuff, but that's really. Oh yeah, they can't stand. They cannot stand the Chiefs. Why? Because they face them twice. So we only see them once every 4 years. So it's always like, oh, I gotta face the big brother. But when you have Raider fans saying "Go Niners," and you see all these huge billboards saying "Do it for the Bay" in Oakland, of all places where they can't stand us, and you see all these red and gold signs up and down.
Well, I did see a funny video on Instagram, and it said, being a Raiders fan in Las Vegas this week, and a car flies past and "Do it for the Bay" starts playing out the window, and he kind of shakes his head. Then another car flies past, Taylor Swift song playing, Chiefs fans go mental. But the reason, Jay, to be very quiet, so I'm going to come to you, buddy. So that's cool. I said at the start of the show, well known for serving the Bristol meetup. So me and Lee touched upon the evolution of the watch party. Now, it's fair to say when the bat signal goes up and there's a watch party in the UK, you travel some significant distance. Is that fair to say, Jay?
Yeah,
you want to tell people a bit more about?
Yeah, I mean, it's no distance compared to what they can do in the States. But I'm coming from South Wales on a coach, of all things, to save on the budget. I'm looking at around about a 6.5 hour coach trip to go only 300 miles.
Oh my God.
But no, I mean, the watch parties are very special to me. I've got such fond memories from everybody and everything when we've done the watch parties. I think my first one would have been, I think it was 2019 in... Was it Edinburgh? Was Edinburgh my first one?
Edinburgh was your first one, yeah.
Yeah, at Belushi's. And some of the memories I've got, I'll have those for life. We're quite lucky in the UK because
you've got memories of that night in Edinburgh, because all of us don't have memories. We were that drunk.
I'm like an elephant. I never forget. They might be a bit blurry sometimes.
Yeah.
But That's I've always said everywhere in the UK is within walking distance, within reason. It just takes a bit longer to get there. Yes. Oh, yes, Gareth. Yeah. I met Gareth for the first time outside a train station because I was giving him a lift up to Edinburgh. I did the same with another couple of guys as well. But yeah, yes, I did see we've got somebody flying in from France. I think Denmark is. This is going to be such an important night for not just the team, but the UK in general. You could put it in Shetland Islands and I'd still get there somehow. I can swim. But yeah, I just can't wait. It's kind of like a dream come true. 2019 seems like a long time ago now.
Yeah.
See, for us in the UK, being an NFL fan is a lonely existence normally. Like Lee said, the first Super Bowl that he's referring to, the Ravens, I actually thought I was the only Niners fan in the UK because I didn't know the group back then. I watched that one at home. And after the Patriots Falcon Super Bowl, Lee, that's when I decided never to watch another Super Bowl at home because the comeback, I mean, I wasn't supporting either team. And normally in the UK show, you go out regardless. The first Super Bowl meetup me and Lee actually arranged was the Rams Patriot Barfest up in Newcastle. When I say Barfest, it was a defensive masterclass, but it wasn't a shootout of sorts, was it, Lee? Was it 13-7 or something? Or
something like that.
Yeah.
So we talked last week about the evolution of the watch party. So the reason we wanted to get you on tonight is to explain to the people watching, what does it look like from across the pond when you see my posts in particular and you see the footage from the last watch party, which Lee and Jay featured very highly in, because that went viral on YouTube for us. I love Colin. Colin's my brother, man. I love Colin. When I met Colin last year, that man's knowledge of 49ers football. Lee, how many games has Colin been to? I lost count.
It's crazy.
Well, I mean, he used to live in Sacramento. He used to be the DB coach for Sacramento State.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's about an hour for me, so it's not crazy far for me. Yeah, that would be obviously that's our state capital. So to answer your question, to see the fan base across a whole nother stratosphere it's epic. It just speaks volumes to our community, and how much it has expanded, not just in like the YouTube verse, but social media and beyond. Because as you know, I probably started with MySpace, and who has a MySpace account anymore? And then it would expand. Don't tell it. I won't tell anybody else. Nobody saw that Jay still has his MySpace. Secret. Don't tell anybody. But then it started to Facebook, and then Facebook would expand and grow into communities, and you learned a bunch of things on Facebook, and then it just went left like Twitter. That's why I'm not there anymore. But that's where I met Paul. I met him on Twitter. Yep, sure did. And I met Shant, unfortunately. I'll leave it at that. And the talks that Paul and I would have, I was just like, can we clone you? Because you're just your energy, your vibe. I mean, you got superstars. I mean, superstars are following that man. I want to be Paul when I grow up. I just want to be Paul when I grow up. He wants to be me. I want to be him. So can we all
want to be Lee Gowland. There's only one person.
Right? I want to be him when I grow up. I want to be all three of you.
There'll be assassination attempts soon, I'm sure.
Well, Paul, you're going to get the opportunity to be Lee Gowland on Sunday night.
Put my mind to it, right? So, no, seeing you guys, like, just your energy, flying out from, 8 hours out, which is more than that by mileage, but to come from one part of the, from the world to the other and experience California, I was so happy that you guys were okay. Number one, you guys had a great time. You were safe. And I know there's a lot of stigma of my city, my home city, which is San Francisco. But when I saw your pictures and just how happy you guys were, I'm like, that's my San Francisco. That's what I know. So I'm like, to hell with, the stigma, because I'm like, no, that's not San Francisco. I know better. I'm from there, right? So it's just, yeah.
Yeah, obviously we hear all about the stigma as well, but I've been across to San Francisco many, many times, and I know what they're talking about. So if you go via Turk and Eddy, you just need to look down that street and know you don't walk down there because of all the homeless people. They're doing drugs in the middle of the street. It's not a particularly good area, but you can completely bypass that when you're walking around San Francisco. You can completely miss it altogether. And the only place I've never ever felt safe in San Francisco was up at Twin Peaks on the observation part. And that's the only time ever I've never felt safe in San Francisco. Everywhere else has been fine. Even when I was being abused running along past the Bay Bridge by some homeless guy, because I had a camera in my hand trying to get the P39. And he told us where he wanted to stick my camera, and I just kept on going. So that, I mean,
You
I
get that in
didn't even feel
Middlesbrough as well,
threatened.
though, don't you?
Exactly, you do. And I didn't feel threatened then. So yeah, it's got a stigma, but I think I think it's underrated still, underrated as a city.
Very. Yeah. I couldn't, you took the words right out of my mouth. And I go to San Francisco obviously all the time. I live in the East Bay, so I'm only about, all told, about 25 minutes from the city. So when I do go and take pictures, or I'm just going, like for appointments or whatever, I have my camera with me almost all the time. And yeah, I've had some issues with some transients and stuff like that. And I'm just like, you come near me, you come into my car, my camera, it's over. like we're not talking no more.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to have this, girl, I'm only 5'3", so I'm short. So I have to have the Superman 20-foot tall kind of mentality. And you have to be not, not a jerk or anything, but you do have to be firm and stand your ground, because if they think that they can try to get to you, and they see that they can, they will. And no, I just can't allow that. And thankfully, a lot of times when I'm taking pictures, a lot of them, they walk by and go, "Hey, did you get a good photo?" I'm like, "Oh, okay. You're not going to try to rob me? Okay, that's new. You're not going to break my windows? Okay, that's new. I like that. Can we keep that energy?" So I say all that to say, like, when people come from different, areas and different countries, even to come to San Francisco and even Oakland as well, because like I said, they're both beautiful cities. They really are. And I know that there's a lot going on and I see it. I'm not oblivious or blind to it. No, of course not. So when I see what I like to affectionately call the Niner Mania, and I see everybody kind of coming together, and even people that can't stand the Niners, but they really can, when they come together, and they're just, you see the conversations people are having, and people that ordinarily wouldn't even talk to each other are conversing and coming together. So through the negative, there's always a positive, in my eyes. And I know I'm super fifth grade about how I feel about my city and my second home, which would be Oakland. But at the end of the day, they're hardworking people. They work hard. They care about each other. We take care of each other here in the city, in the Bay Area. We really do. And contrary to popular belief, I know it's horrible. I know it's hell and high water on both sides of the Bay, but we're strong people. We're resilient. We bounce back, and same as our team, they bounce back too. And like I said, we're together in the most important time, because I'm not sure if we have a team like this again after this season. I don't know. I hope so. And, fingers crossed. I hope you guys can come out if we make it that far and we hoist we hoist that trophy. I hope you guys can come out. I know it's an arm and a leg, but there is GoFundMe. There are Venmo accounts. We could just
and
drop some
OnlyFans.
bread in there and
Well, I was
drop
gonna
a few
say,
breadcrumbs, right?
Just be careful, because Moonraker Matt, who started following you on Instagram, Martin, has started an OnlyFans account, tongue in cheek, to raise the money. But when you were talking there, when we were in San Francisco, Lee will correct me with the terminology, but when we were coming home from the game, was that the BART that we were on, Lee?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, that was the BART. So we
can you remember? We were all in one carriage halfway through, and Andy pointed out the Coliseum of Auckland. So I had my own tour guide, right? And this guy came bouncing down the train, and at first glance we thought, hang on a second, and he was like shouting at the top of his voice, "You guy Niners fans, all decked in red and gold." And he was like, "I'm a Detroit Lions fan, baby, but I respect the hell out of your team." And the whole carriage cheered, high-fiving everyone. And when we beat them last weekend, I thought of that guy, because he was quite respectful. Obviously, he just went on with his day. And Gary's put a comment there. All cities get a bad rap, even London. I must admit, I'm a bit nervous when I go down to London. However, they're more nervous than us because when I was on the tube, I kept saying hello to people and kept being polite to people. It did help that I had Jay Petlow on one side and Oliver Stretfield, who probably could be an offensive lineman in the NFL, on the other side. So I was a little bit confident they were my bodyguards. But Colin has chipped in there that he went to Auckland in '95 with staff for his recruiting. So I met Colin last year, Shell, at the first meetup in Leeds, and he just blew me away with the knowledge, and he was saying about being a UK fan. And go on, Lee.
So James Waters, he's been to San Francisco 15 times and never had any trouble. So what you should know about James, Shell, is James is 10'6". That's why he's never had any problem. He's the biggest human being you're ever likely to meet.
So at Levi's,
that's my new bodyguard because I'm 5'3", so that's the perfect bodyguard.
So
he was everybody's bodyguard when
I'm
we
going
went
to say I'm
across.
5'11".
Right, he was the whole city's bodyguard.
Yeah, well, he wore his kilt when we went to Levi Stadium, and I said, "Come on, James, you're a big fan of the show. Get a photo." And I look like a small child stood next to this man. So he got a lot of attention at Levi's. One, because of his height. Two, because of his kilt. Now, if you're going to set up an OnlyFans, just be careful, because Martin only got one subscriber. That was his wife, Dawn, and she's asked for a refund. So
I was waiting till payday, Mark.
Not the refund. I can't.
I think the answer to that question, Colin,
there's a lot of
is
similarities
yes.
between London and the States. Yeah, we're both kind of catty, a little crazy.
So I've got a question about
Wait, Betty.
I've got a question about San Francisco in the week leading up to Super Bowl 50. So obviously, Super Bowl 50 was down in Levi's. What did the city? Did the whole atmosphere change in that week leading up to Super Bowl 50? Because obviously you had all the normal Super Bowl activities in San Francisco, even though the game was getting played 45 miles south of San Francisco. What was that like?
It was fun, and I wish I was a better photographer then, like I am now, because my pictures were trash. But there were illuminated signs on the tall buildings, and it just had the whole SB50, so that was awesome. And then the City Hall and some of the other iconic buildings here, like Transamerica, Coit Tower, stuff like that, were all lit up with the Super Bowl colors, and it was one of those. Damn, I wish it was us, And then the Raiders weren't doing all that great then either. So it's just like, why can't it be us? Like, it should be us in our backyard. Big brother versus little brother. What better way to celebrate it than to play it in our host backyard? But the atmosphere then was just as fun as it is now. We weren't going to the Super Bowl, but a lot of people dressed up in their gear. You saw fans from other teams, not so much the Broncos and the I think it was the Panthers, if I'm not mistaken.
It was the Panthers,
it was Cam Newton, that's right. Yeah. So you saw a lot of Broncos fans. You see all these old school jerseys like Shannon Sharp and Elway, things like that. And I was just like, wow. There was even Champ Bailey, of course, was gone, but I saw Champ Bailey. That's I love Champ Bailey. He's all-time favorite, or one of my all-time favorites. So to see those jerseys and stuff like that was cool, and it was nice that people were coming out and, of course, spending money and having a great time. But it also brought just that confirmation that, San Francisco, it has its flaws, but it's, it's a cool place to go, and you can have fun here. You can feel safe. Everybody knows always check, be aware of your surroundings and stuff like that. I know the Tenderloin is not the best neighborhood. Even for me, it's like, if I have to drive through, it's drive quick. Run red lights if I have to, but get out of there, because it breaks my heart to see people that are in trouble that need help. They clearly just need help, and it's like, don't turn your back on it, because it's almost like the ocean. If you turn your back on it, you know what happens, right? So, to pull you in, and I still believe that the Tenderloin, because at one point the Tenderloin was like one of the most popular spots in the city for quite some time until the unfortunate happened. And there's been a lot of, just BS around that. But anyway, it was just nice, that people were coming and enjoying themselves and just having a good vibe, a good time. Like with you guys, when you guys came to watch the game and go to the Warriors game, super jealous, and go to Oracle Park, super, super jealous. There's no basketball. There's no baseball, but here they are at Oracle Park. I'm like, oh, I just want to cut work. I'm sitting in Oakland at work. I'm at work in Oakland, which is 20 miles away. I'm just across the bridge. I'm like, okay, I could go over there real quick.
I did put enough photos. You knew where we were. I didn't take the security advice, Jay. I was streaming wherever I went because it was a once in a lifetime. Now, Lee, you mentioned something earlier about I'm going to get my opportunity to be Lee Gowland, and that was lost in the chat. Now, we're
Yeah, but it wasn't
49
lost on
minutes
you, was
in. You've teased announcements to people, and I'm conscious that as much as we're having a blast, we do need to kind of give some news. Can't keep people waiting to the end of the show.
Okay, that's fine. So I'll go through some of the stuff, but I'm going to leave you to last. So I've been told that, and the way this is being worded isn't finite. So no special guests that they can speak of presently will be at the game on Sunday, will be at the watch party. And the way they phrased that means when I ask the question, there's nobody. But that doesn't mean there's not going to be somebody who eventually turns up. So they were very careful in the way they answered that question. There's been some other questions asked about Sunday night. There's going to be multiple 70-inch TV screens around the room within the pavilion. Nice. So there'll be plenty of TV screens to watch, big enough. I've already mentioned it's going to be sports bar type food. Obviously burgers, hot dogs, chips, that sort of stuff. Before we get there, we've arranged with the head of Steam to actually congregate there. Now, for £10, they'll give us an American sharer-style buffet, which includes loaded nachos, loaded fries, selection of pizzas, chips, onion rings, and anything else we'd like. So I don't know how big that is, whether or not it's like £10 off everybody, and they'll just keep on bringing food out. There's also a 10% discount on all the drinks. So we'll get a wristband as we go in, and when you go to order your drink, show the bar staff your wristband, and they'll give you 10% off your drink. So it's going to make it a little bit cheaper. And what they've also offered, because we think potentially we're going to have over 100 people there in the pre-meetup, they've actually offered to provide a photo booth free of charge.
Oh, wow.
So they said they'd put one in, use it if we want to use it. Everything's free. So if you want to do some daft photos on Super Bowl Sunday, jump in the photo booth.
Oh, no.
Now, so back to Paul's.
So hang on.
Paul's keen ear there.
As Gary's asked a question, and you might be the man to answer. So he wants to know: are we streaming it from the US feed, or will we be watching like ITV, BBC, Sky Sports?
So because it's a 49ers official event, what I'm expecting is they've been given a code for Game Pass that allows them to stream the game.
Right.
It could end up being Sky, to be honest, because I would imagine
Super Bowl commercials.
Yeah, I'd imagine the pavilion's got access to Sky Sports, so it might be Sky Sports. So, what time does the meet ahead of the Steam start? Okay, so from about 1 o'clock onwards, we've said that people start drifting in. I'm getting there for my train is due in 25 to 3. I'm not going to bother going to the hotel. I'm only bringing a small bag. I'm going straight to the pub. So I'll be straight in there to get a pint. And I think everybody's going to arrive around about 2, 3, 4 o'clock. So by the time we get to 4, half 4, I think we're going to pretty much have the maximum amount of people that's going to turn up. Maybe there's a few others will drift in from the box after they finish watching the football, because I know there's football on in the afternoon, which they want to watch. That'll be soccer for you, Shell, when I say football. So they'll be down there watching that, and that's just 5 minutes around the corner. And I think we'll stay there till probably is about 7, half 7, then make our way to the hotel, check in, and then just round the corner from the arena. So we'll go around there and get in there as early as possible.
So the venue Lee's talking about there, Shell, last year when Nick Clark reached out and we hosted our first official 49ers watch party, we like to make a weekend of it. So we all booked in the same hotel and we were all walking around Leeds City Centre in red and gold. Now that's quite significant because Leeds United football team wears white and their rivals Manchester United wear red. So we were taking over the city, for want of a word. And we went to the venue, called the head of team. We did a live pod from there, and it shows the testament of our group that was a year ago, and they've reached out and said, "You guys coming to Leeds, we want you." So the event at Leeds United is 11:30 for the Super Bowl kickoff. I think the doors are open at 9. But as Lee said, we're going 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We are celebrating the NFL. We're celebrating the Super Bowl. So it's going to be awesome. So,
Oh my gosh.
So it's interesting because I saw something on the internet today, and it was like one of those things. Many of the things I see on the internet, I don't believe a word of it, and I'm not entirely sure I believe anything that I saw today. But it was ranking the 5 most dangerous towns and cities in the UK. Leeds was number 2. Leeds
Get
came
out
up
of
number 2.
here.
Paul, you'll never guess what number 1 was.
It
It was Hartlepool.
I
which
thought you were going to say
borders
Middlesbrough, where I live. Yeah. That's why I was
Hartlepool.
laughing. I was like, so. But,
So I found that
Are
interesting.
these
but I'm
are these
not sure
cities
I
like
believe that.
close to London, or are they far
Nowhere
away?
near.
Or
well,
They're in
it
the north of the
depends.
country where the real men live.
It depends on your from an American point of view. London's close to everywhere in the UK because how I am so small to you guys.
oh my
To us in
god.
the UK, so you were talking at the start of the show, Shell, about getting to Las Vegas for $2,000.
Right.
Me and Tracy are going to Leeds for the Super Bowl watch party. It's going to cost us about £150 all in for both of us. That's travelling down there, accommodation, food and drink for the day. Going to London was going to cost me between 500 to 600, dependent on where we stayed, and that's just for one night in London. So, selfishly, when the Hannahs announced they couldn't get a watch party in London, now I do get we've got some viewers who that was the roles were reversed. They were praying for London because it would have reduced their costs. It's out of our hands. I mean, we knew that we were planning this, but they had to wait until we beat the Lions. But Lee, you still keep the people waiting. Come on, I need to know what you've roped me into.
Hang on, before Lee carries on,
Go
though,
on.
just to drag it out a little bit more.
I know, right? Keep the suspense
memo.
going.
You got the memo.
There are a few of us going up to Leeds on the Saturday as well. Myself, Paul Scrimshaw, Gavin, who I'm meeting up with for the first time, 7:30 on Saturday morning. So if there are any other people going up there on the Saturday, reach out to myself or Paul Scrimshaw, and we'll see if we can get a pre-meet together.
A pre-meet.
A pre-meet. If not, we'll see everybody in the head of steam for breakfast.
No. So go on, Lee. Back to you before Jay drags us out any longer.
Well, yeah, I mean,
No, I'm just joking.
so ever since we went out to the gold mine in November, obviously you know what my voice was like after the game. I completely lost my voice, and I struggled for the next 3 or 4 days. And after the championship game, my throat was quite, my voice had pretty much gone anyway after the championship game. It was mentioned by a few people. So what I'll let you do, Paul, on Sunday night is you start off all the chanting for us, because obviously I want a voice come next week. Plus, I've got another little job for you. So, do you want to actually? I'll do it for you, Paul, because I've saved that picture you sent. So, Paul was going to wind me up today.
Something's backfired.
Yeah.
Paul.
So, Paul was going to wind me up today. Do you want to explain that, Paul?
So that's BBC Radio, Teesside, Middlesbrough. So I was in town today, Shell. So I sent Lee a picture and said, I'm just going in for an interview about the watch party at the weekend. And he was like, so that's backfired on me.
So
there was no interview.
It's
It
completely
looks like an
backfired on you,
apartment.
Paul.
How fun.
Oh, hang
At
on,
BBC
Paul.
Radio?
Yeah.
How awesome.
Yeah. So
I
you
can
know,
see where this is going.
yeah. So
It's
you
your
know, I said,
accents for me. I'm just like, go ahead.
you know, I said I had a job for you, and you have to do it at 10:30 on Sunday night.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Well, you need to be interviewed by BBC Radio on Sunday night. So
Brilliant.
when you sent that,
That's not a
through-
hard thing to do. You can do this, Paul.
When
got
you sent that through, I thought, has he seen my email? Because the email that I got it on was my 49 for UK email, and it's a shared mailbox.
Oh,
So
no,
everybody who has an email address for that all sees the same emails. And I thought, oh, he's definitely seen it. But yeah, it's just strange. So at 10:30 on Sunday night, you're going to be interviewed by BBC Radio 5 Live Sport. There's going to be a Kansas City Chiefs fan on there. I just need to pass your details to the producer at the BBC, and then you can do that interview as well. And the reason I chose you is, and you know where I'm going with this, because I asked you the question before I mentioned about having a job for you. Paul doesn't drink, whereas I do,
neither.
and pretty much everybody else who's going to be there, other than David Neve, drinks. So Paul's going to be best placed to actually give the interview and still remain compos mentis.
So when we went to London, I can see where this is going as well, Shelley. You saw Joe Staley was partying with us. So when we announced the official watch party, everybody was like, is somebody coming from the Niners? But Chapman hosted a live watch along. So I put the headphones in. Couldn't hear a word John was saying. And he did say, just go with it. And anyway, I'm in the middle of answering the question that I was being asked. And out the corner of my eye, I just saw Lee Gowland just approach me and just get in the camera shot, hugging me. And then the other side, Sourdough Sam. So Chapman was like, that looks like an absolute blast. And when I watched it back the next day, I didn't answer any of his questions, but it just, we're nice to see that you guys across the pond are interested in what we're doing. Have you got the footage, Lee, of Dre Greenlaw?
Yes.
And
I completely forgot.
See,
about
I'll share this because I know Lee said he loses his voice. I lose my voice every Sunday. There is a video. Some of you that just started following me, that I'll post it for you guys' enjoyment. So sound up because you will see me losing it. This is the part where Detroit, or it was the Niners versus Detroit, and the Niners tied the game. And I lose it. So sound up. I'll post it. I'll post it in just a second. I'll repost it. It's hilarious. So enjoy. You guys need a good alarm clock, a wake up call. You can use it. So you're not the only one that loses it and acts a complete ASS. Because I'm one of those people. No shame.
I think if you come away from a watch party with a voice, you've done something wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
This is the one time
that you get to lose
adults,
it and get away with it.
You can just go mental. You can go absolutely crazy. So yeah, if Monday morning we're not sat in Weatherspoons having a breakfast, celebrating, and we can barely understand what any of us are saying, then something's gone horribly wrong.
I do appreciate the opportunity and appreciate that, Dan. I know you're not drinking either, Gary. I mean, what Lee's failing to say is he got to do the draft pick in Vegas. I get to do an interview for BBC Radio, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
It's
boss.
the BBC.
So yeah, I'll be able to tell the kids I'm on the radio as well as YouTube. And
yes, spots are going to be there as well, Lee. Is there any word on that?
I don't think so. So I think what will happen is they'll have a local videographer and photographer.
Same as last time.
Same as last time.
Cool.
Yeah. So this is the footage.
So yeah, one of our members is actually out at the Super Bowl as a media representative, and he got this for us.
It's quite quiet.
Yeah, it's very quiet. So I think that was quiet, but it's on our YouTube channel. Now, to be fair, Jay, when Anthony Wotton texted me and said, got a few players who've got and click for you, where shall I send it? And then when it came across, straight onto Lee. So Lee edited Anthony's footage, so we'll give Anthony a shout out for that. Just before we head into something else, just had a text to remind me. We've got a member in the group, Jonathan Wraith Green, has set up his own professional dog walking and pet services based in South Yorkshire. So if you're in the South Yorkshire area and you need someone to walk your dog, any pet services, as it says across the bottom, either hit us up in our DMs or contact Jonathan and he will look into that for you. So there you go, Jonathan. You owe Lee a pint because I don't drink, so you can get Lee a pint for that shout out.
Right, so I just noticed that there's no audio, so I've gone into the share settings, and sure enough, you can't do it unless it's in a Microsoft Edge. It's the only way you can share. Yeah, it's the only way you can share audio.
We're getting
Send them
questions.
to the
We can
YouTube channel.
we can negotiate. If you attend the watch party, if you buy Lee a fireball, we'll say anything on the YouTube channel. But to be fair, Shell, just goes to show where we've come from. That Gibson and Connolly were pretty epic, but Dre Greenlaw looking at the camera and saying, shout out to the 49er faithful UK. That's kind of like stuff of legend, and it just goes to show the connection that you can have with the players in the NFL. We don't get that across the pond. You wouldn't get a Premier League footballer shouting out a fan group on social media. So,
not without putting 50 grand in his pocket.
No. So, and don't worry, Wayne. I am fully aware that I have a face for radio, so don't worry about that. And Neil, God bless you. We love you, buddy, but we know he puts there when Lee gets technical, his eyes just glaze over and he turns to mush. But have you got any more to drip feed, Lee, on the watch party, or have you any more on the topic to talk about?
No, because obviously I do know more. Actually, yeah, go on then. I won't go. No, hang on. I need to be very careful.
For effect.
I need to be very careful because I do want to keep some of this as a surprise. So what I will say is, yes, there's going to be giveaways. Some might be the same as last time. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I definitely
there were a lot
know.
Of white patches left.
I definitely know there'll be something new as the giveaway. So there'll be something else there. I also know there's going to be raffle prizes, and I think one of those prizes in particular, everybody is going to want to win that one prize. That's all I'm going to say. There's going to be autograph stuff there from, I believe, at least 2 players. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a good night.
What I want to ask Shell before we finish off. So obviously, Bay Area, fan of the Niners like us. When you see the Niners throwing an official watch party for us in the UK, and you hear this, like Nick Clark, fan engagement manager, absolute legend, and we get giveaways at these things, like Lee said there. There's raffles, there's autograph merchandise. Are you happy about that? Are you like, oh man, can we have a piece of that over here? What's the thoughts?
Oh, I want you guys to come over here. That's what I want. But what I want versus what I can have are 2 different things. So, and it's one of those, can London just be in our backyard? Because it's just your accents for me. I just cannot stop listening. I'm just like, I don't want to talk anymore. I'm just a guest. I'm just a fan. Just a whole fangirl. It makes me proud. It kind of, I was about to nearing tears when you were talking about it, and I'm like, okay, stop, because I'm having a fangirl moment, and I'm just so happy to see how energetic you guys are, and it's nice to know I'm not the only one that loses it Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night, or Sunday afternoon. I keep doing what you're doing. I love it. I love the energy, and I love that other content creators are backing you guys and are behind you. I love the energy in the chat. It's all positive, and sadly, I don't see that in the other chats, and that breaks me. And I'm like, you guys could take a page out of these people's books. They're so excited. They're just happy to be in this moment, and I'm just like, let's just enjoy it. I wish you guys could come here, and I would come and watch with you guys, even if it's bad. I'm gonna be like, but I know I wouldn't be by myself.
No, you're
not
by
that
yourself.
I am. It's just no, never. And I would love that. Even the bad, the good, the exciting, the nail biting kind of things. I wish other people in other chats would follow you guys' examples, because it's so positive, so friendly, just so inviting, and I'm here for it. So I say cheers to you guys. Very happy, very proud to see that our fan base, even the Raiders fan base, is very popular in the UK as well. So it's kind of nice to see both sides of the bay, even though they're now in Vegas, to see that popularity go so far, and to be international as well is just amazing. So I say cheers. And I met Paul 3 years ago in the spaces, and we've just been friends ever since, or virtual friends ever since. So I'm here for all of his energy. I'm here for all of you guys' energy. And those of you that followed me, thank you so much. I appreciate it. not here for the follow or the attention. I'm just a fangirl. I'm just enjoying this time and looking forward to Sunday because I can't get here fast enough. It's one of those.
Yeah,
Why is
too
it
right.
taking so long? Right? It's like why is it's only Wednesday? It's taking forever. And then when Sunday gets here, I'm gonna want this time back. So I'm just enjoying
This
it
was
right now.
my midway point. When Paul told me that I was coming on, I got all excited and all reared up for it. But now we're going to finish this soon, and then I'm going to have 2 to 3 days that's going to drag so badly.
Yeah.
Like Lee said, it can't get here soon enough now. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to pop.
Well, the good news for you, Jay, is before we answer some of the questions in the chat, the 49er Faithful UK pod will be out later in the week. Lee
Kelsey
Gowland likes to
Breeze.
tease. So, we decided, Michelle, that we're not going to record Thursday like we normally do. We're going to record our preview on Friday, let all the news settle down, and then we're going to do an in-depth analysis of the game. Obviously, key matchups. We look at the offense, we look at the defense. Gareth has put there that he can't wait for the Niners in London, so all you guys can come across and we can have the mother of all watch parties because we'll end up going to a game together, which will be
that'll be an
awesome.
invasion.
And James has put
wait.
there that if you love accents, you've heard nothing until you've heard the dulcet tones of a Scotsman, and it just goes to show you our group. And then Neil's like, you need a translator. But, I mean, what I want to you, Jay, and Martin, and I think Lee and Michelle will agree. Enjoy this week. We haven't been in the Super Bowl every year. We're not the Kansas City Chiefs. 4 out of
Thank God.
Patrick Mahomes.
No.
His routine. He said it. He was like, "Oh, my Super Bowl week routine is," and it's like he's actually got a routine for the Super Bowl because he goes that often. And I think back in 2019, 2020, when we got there, we were hyped because we had our own watch party. And I think it's safe to say, Lee, that we were the underdogs back then. Kansas City Chiefs had the high-powered offense. We were there because of our defense. But this one feels different. You touched upon it earlier, Jason. I'm going to hand it back over to you. You said about this team being special and the journey that we've been on this side of the pond. But just enjoy this week. You've got to be excited. Come on, buddy. Bring the positive vibes.
We're positive. We're so complete. It is literally ridiculous. You cannot find a weak link in this team now. You've got the fairy tale story of Purdy. You've got the weapons left, right, and center of him. You've got a defense that would stop a juggernaut truck. You can't. Michelle said it earlier. I don't think maybe for a while, maybe next season. I don't think that Lee would probably know where we're looking at salaries and having to pay people for next season and stuff. I think we'll be as strong next season if there's no financial difficulties.
Well, we will because we kept 42 million in the cap, and that kind of covers us for next season.
Don't worry about next season.
No. I want back to back, Paul. I want back to back.
Yeah, funny enough, I was thinking that this week as well.
Huh?
That's going to be the chant at the end of the night on Sunday.
Yes,
Monday
100%. I mean, when we were up in Leeds, I don't know where the positivity comes from. It's weird because any normal person of sane mind would see that result at half time against the Lions and think like 95% of the people in Leeds did, oh, it's done. But I sent Paul a message before half time, as Paul wasn't with us, but we have a constant little bit of a messaging to and fro. And I sent Paul a message and I thought to myself, I was like, I'm going to do this now so it's on record before half time. Just sent him a message saying, we've got this. Now, negativity spreads so easily. Positivity is a lot harder to embed in people and spread around. So that night in Leeds, I was literally just going around to people and you see the long faces and all looking upset and dejected. It's like, we've got this. We have got this all the way through. People think I'm deluded sometimes. But
he's selling himself short there, Michelle. So because normally we support a West Coast team, 9 times out of 10 you're watching the Niners at home. So it can be 1 a.m, game starts, finishes at 5 a.m. And me and Jay have developed the reputation of we text each other during the game. And on our game day thread, some people like to post when it's negative. And me and Jay, we text each other, we stay off the game day thread, and then we go on to put some positivity. And people are like, don't believe you. We're like, we've got the time-stamped texts. Now, the watch party
We
in
have
Leeds,
proof.
I couldn't make it, so I had to sit at home. So my Mr. Captain Positivity buddy was there in person. But I was texting my friend who's a Lions fan, and I texted him the same time Jay was texting me because he was obviously confident at half time. However, he did say to me one thing that stuck in my mind. He said he was worried about Dan Campbell's aggressiveness. And he said Carl Shanahan was calmness personified. Now, coming from a neutral fan, that really surprised me because Carl was getting a lot of heat.
Yeah.
Carl needed to be more aggressive. Carl's game plan needed to be more aggressive. But, I mean, where was your thoughts at halftime the Lions game? Were you just totally like the season's done, or did you keep the faith and think we could come back?
Tell the truth, Michelle. Tell the truth.
Like, you can't handle the truth. When Moody missed the kick, I left the house. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I left the house. I got my car flags. I'm like, I'm just gonna take a ride and just turn the music off, turn the radio off. I don't want to hear anything. So the neighboring city next to me is a city called Walnut Creek. And there's a lot of outdoor shops and restaurants and stuff. So I knew the games were on. I knew the game was on. It was just a question of how the fan base, how the community, how that vibe was going, right? And what stuck out to me when I was driving was the silence. And I was like, oh God, this isn't good. I'm like, oh boy. I drive by, I see one TV and it said 14-7. I said, oh boy, here we go. And then I see this huge, huge watch party, and there's all these people watching. There's this big old projector screen and everything. So I was like, okay, I'll stop off. Why not? So I stop off, and as soon as I get there, I'm just standing outside because you have to have wristband to get in, which I'm not trying to do. I'm just watching the TV. As soon as I get there, a fight breaks out. I'm like, and it's 2 Niner fans. I'm like, oh, really? So security walks in, escorts the one guy that's like, heckling and starting trouble. He thinks out. And then I see the interception. And you see these fans like, the opposing fans like, yeah, we're going to win. And of course, Raider fans are just, chirping along. And I'm like, oh, God, here we go. So it was 24-7 by the time I finally left this watch party. So I'm like, okay, I'll just go back home and whatever happens, happens. So I see the third quarter, of course, now when I get home, the halftime is just ending and the quarter was just starting. And when I see the Niners take, of course, they have possession at the start of kickoff. I see the progressions going. And then when he hit the pass to Debo and Debo signaled the sense of urgency, I was like, oh, yeah, it's on. Okay. I'll stay and watch. Let's just see what happens. Let's just see how this goes. So it was 24-10 and then 24-17 because they missed that fourth, and I think it was 4th and 2. And then they missed another opportunity, and then they ended up turning over again, and then we tied the game. I'm like, oh my God, we just might pull this rabbit. We just might pull this hat trick. That's soccer, right? So I know a little bit about soccer, but not too much. And then I'm just sitting there, and I just posted the video on my Instagram for the international followers. And I'm just like, oh my God, they can do this. And then I'm not going to scream out loud. I'm just, you'll see it. Because it tells a story of just a range of emotions I was going through. I went from, okay, well, we've been here before. And, if we lose it, then hopefully we don't lose by too much. Hopefully it's not this terrible shootout because it was 24-7. I'm like, yeah, it's going to take a miracle, and at the worst, I'm like, maybe 24-20, 17, it won't be so bad. And wow, what a second half that was. 27 points in 2.
The Lions were playing like
wild.
The Lions were playing like you play a game of Madden on the PlayStation.
Facts.
It was reckless, I think. And I'm glad.
We're not going to go down that rabbit hole as such. I mean, my friend who's a Lions fan said Campbell's been doing it all season. And fair play when we had him on our pod. So it was the first time we've had a rival fan on the preview show. Michelle, obviously.
He was good.
Oh, okay.
Good friend of mine, Lions fan. So me and Lee met up with him in Newcastle when we beat the Eagles and they beat the Saints. And he's we're going to get him back on. We decided not to bring him back on the day after. His team had just lost that one. So I know he's cheering the Niners
Raw
on.
reactions.
So I think it's fair to say, Michelle, it's Instagram, isn't it? I should have put your Instagram name up on there so people are asking where they can see this footage. So double check with me. I'll get that posted out. So modern technology. Go on, Lee. I've just seen your private message in the chat.
Good dancing in the red and
What's going on, 49ers Faithful UK? It's Chris Conley. We're so thankful to have you cheering for us. We're going to go get it done. Keep that energy high, and if you need to, get some coffee going.
Shout out Faithful 49ers UK. We appreciate the love and support. We'll bring this back. Bang, bang, Niner gang. Appreciate the love and the support.
Shout out 49er Faithful UK. Let's get it, baby. We're going to win this thing.
Yeah. So when that dropped, just all the hard work that me, Lee, Jay, the other admin members put into the group, and that's why I was saying to those people who think that this week is dragging, enjoy this week. I've not so much enjoyed some of the stupid questions that the players have been asked. I did want to ask you three before we finish off. Kyle Shanahan, buzzed Kyle, were you a fan? Or are you on the page that you should be taking it all seriously? You must have seen the footage. I'll hand over to Lee first because he's normally a bit more sensible than I am.
You're on mute.
Yes, I just realised that. So I wasn't saying I'm crazy. I'm saying this blank look on my face should tell you that I haven't seen that. I've kind of stayed away from pretty much everything this week. I tend not to get involved in the media week up to the Super Bowl because you get the same questions asked every single year, and I think the generic questions, nobody really makes it interesting. The only guy that's ever made it interesting, believe it or not, was Marshawn Lynch when he refused to answer any questions and said, "I'll just do so I don't get fined."
Yeah.
So I do tend to stay away from that. So I haven't seen a buzzed Kyle yet.
So basically, the rumour is, Lee, that Kyle had maybe enjoyed a drink or two and he went on the media circuit. I found him very honest. He talked very lovingly about Brock Purdy. He talked very lovingly about the team. And then there were certain content creators were on the fence that Kyle shouldn't be like that. And some were doing it for clicks. But obviously, we see it back the next day. I didn't see it live. So what was your take on it? Because I thought it was just nice to see him relaxed, which to me says to the team. And another thing that I thought before I hand it over, it took the pressure off the players because all everybody was talking about was Kyle Shanahan. Nobody else. So maybe it was a tactic. Who knows? It looked like he'd had a few fireballs, Colin. But what did you make, Shell? Were you impressed or not impressed?
Kind of neutral. It was nice to finally just see him, because he's always very tight, reserved, and very conservative. And it's just have fun, channel your inner Jim Harbaugh if you have to. Have fun with this. We made it. We're back. And after coming off of this crazy last season and Brock Purdy unfortunately going down, and then we even had to have Christian McCaffrey come in and try to save the day. We already knew that was just not going to happen. But yeah, I'm a whole fan of him just being like, yeah, this is great. Very drawl, very, very drawn out. And I was here for that smoke. And it's nice to see it. I just, Vegas is a very busy, very distracting place. And I'm glad that they're not practicing in Vegas. Like at the stadium, I'm glad they're kind of practicing away. I know there was drama about the turf and stuff like that. At this point, it's like, let's just focus because we only have about 4 days left. And I know it's dragging, but it's still, I'm kind of glad because it kind of, let's focus, let's regroup, let's enjoy this time again. But I enjoyed Kyle seeing him like that. I mean, like I said, I'm more neutral about it only because it was just nice to see a different side. But I'm hoping to see the side that we've been waiting to see this entire time he's been a coach.
What do you reckon, Jay? Did you see it, or are you similar to Lee?
I'm in the same boat as Lee. Usually, when it comes to game days and stuff, I binge watch pundits and like First Take and Colin Cowherd, and just to hear everything that's being said about us. But for this week, I've kind of done the same as Lee. I've avoided it. I just haven't felt the need to. I don't need somebody blowing smoke up us because I know how good we are. I know how dominating we're going to be. So yeah, I've just avoided it and just looking at the date, just edge closer to getting on.
Well,
that
if you do
7 hour
want
coach trip.
a laugh, go and have a check. So Ian's put there. So the mini dude, 11-year-old Jeremiah, works for ESPN. He is awesome. So he interviews Patrick Mahomes, Lee. He interviews George Kittle, and he's word perfect. Fred Warner. And it was just the reason I asked is I got tagged in something by an American content creator. I don't do Harry Potter. So before you Harry Potter fans go mad, I don't do Harry Potter. So apparently Kittle organised the team in the houses of Harry Potter. So that was quite funny. I never thought we'd talk Harry Potter as much as I've just said that in a 30-second spell on the 49er Faithful UK. But I must admit, Jay, I've tried not to go too much into content, but I'm waiting for the news to come out. I'm not going to go down the practice field. Is there anything else, Lee, that we need to tease out about the watch party, or are we just going to make people wait until the pod comes out on Friday night stroke Saturday morning?
I say
no, so
save
I
it.
think that's pretty much it for teasing anything else. Everything else is going to be a surprise. So once you get there and you see it, then yeah, that's a surprise.
So I know you have a few things to promote, Michelle. You messaged me and asked for permission, so I would like to hand over to you now to give a shout out to some of your awesome content.
I'm like, I did. It shows where the mania is. It's all in my brain. Tardome has a podcast on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Thursdays, I'm a part of it. So you guys, if you can, it's around, I want to say maybe 3 o'clock your time, 3 p.m. your time. It's on tomorrow. So I will be with Tardome tomorrow. So I'm sure he'll be very happy to talk to me and get on my case and all that good stuff. His show is awesome. So please like and subscribe to the Tardome. There's some videos, and there's even a video of me with my helmet, my jersey, my football. Yeah, I got it all. And one way or another, I'm playing for this team. That's how I'm gonna tease them. Thank you guys so much for having me. And yeah, if you guys, want to follow, I appreciate it. Photography is just a hobby. It's not for profit, but if you guys were interested in something, we could totally talk it out. I know some stuff can get sent to the UK. The only thing that I had was a 49er inspired calendar. So if you guys really, really, really want one, then I'll be, we could talk it out. But that's the only thing that I have. So I don't do the podcast thing. I don't have a channel or anything like that. I just have a IG. I got rid of Facebook and Twitter because it was just way too toxic for me. So my home is IG. So check my page out. It's wide open to the public. So have fun and thank y'all again. This was great. I had a great time. This was awesome. And again, it's the accents for me. Shameless.
Any last words,
Hi,
Jay?
Martin.
So yeah, Jay,
No.
you dropped out. So the crowd were like, "Where's he gone? Captain Positivity cannot leave." And then they're like, "Oh, hi, Jay.
I'm back. No, I just can't wait to see everybody. There's so many people that I can't wait to see. Neil Watson, my Scottish Reverend, I haven't seen for such a long time, and I cannot wait to see him. But no, I just can't wait. It's going to be such a good weekend. Quest for 6. Do not doubt us. Otherwise, I'm going to be just walking around like I was last time with a Nick Bosa pose just to say, effectively, told you so.
Right.
So the chat has been on fire before I get some final thoughts from Lee. I haven't been able to put everyone's comments on there. I think Gopher, apologies, buddy, you were dropping some fire knowledge, but because your comments were that long, if I put them on the screen, it would have cut off our awesome guests. But we do appreciate first-time viewers. If you haven't liked or subscribed to the channel, now is the time for me to do a cheeky shout-out. When I checked last, we were at 935 subs on YouTube. I want 1,000 for the Super Bowl. That's what I want. I thought it was a pipe dream. So I like the ooh.
Ooh, yeah, I just remembered something. So if we do, not if we do, when we get to 1,000 subs, we'll do a giveaway of a Joe Staley bobblehead.
Right.
It won't be a signed one, but it'll be a Joe Staley bobblehead.
So there you go. So I'll tweet those details out afterwards. So once we get to 1,000 subs on YouTube, as Lee said there, we're going to do.
We're up to 947. 53 short.
So it might sound small
Bowman
for
short.
some of the bigger content creators watching, but for us, we're about a year into this YouTube journey. We've tried to grow the channel organically. Great guests like yourself help. We will have you back on, Michelle. Jay, I know you're itching in the background. You've got some stuff that you want to come on. But
Jay's awesome.
the format for the live is designed to get guests like you guys on, and it does help me and Lee out. Any final words, Lee, before I load the video up and we finish off?
Just enjoy Sunday. It's not often you get to a Super Bowl. Enjoy the day. Don't be too disheartened if it doesn't turn out the way we want it to, but it will turn out the way we want it to. This is ours. Let's go Niners.
Yeah, so thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you to the awesome guests. The awesome foursome will be back later in the week with your special
maybe
Super Bowl preview.
Maybe somebody might be flying to Vegas.
Well, he has to
Fingers
ruin
crossed.
it. So, Jay,
Fingers crossed.
be on standby. If Lee goes to Vegas,
I'm
there'll be
ready.
an opening. So we'll need someone on. But all jokes aside, we will be back next Wednesday. We will be celebrating no matter what happens, like Lee said. And all that is left for me to say is stay safe and go Niners.
Bang, bang, Niner
Quest
gang.
for 6!
We love the San Francisco 49ers deep in the heart. Like Joe Montana in the corner, G. Clark, Garrison Hurst.